Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited for you guys to be here with me today. I've decided today is a good day for a reading. So if you have found this video, if you resonated with the title and you feel that this is for you, take whatever resonates, be open, be receptive. I am excited to give this reading to you. So let's start off with just a general You card. This is going to be the overall arching theme of the reading, and then we'll digest and break down from there. Alright, so two cards came out. We have the Seven of Swords and we have the Devil card. This is a very interesting energy. The energy being the habits, the patterns, the addictions that we have created a habitual experience within our life. You know, those things that we do on a constant day-to-day basis, the things that we consume online, food-wise, coffee, caffeine, like sugar, marijuana, whatever the addiction may be. It seems as if there is something, obviously, these habits, these old patterns, and it doesn't have to be addiction, you know? I mean, any habit in some way is a form of addiction, but this could be just, what are the daily habits that you have in your life? And are those habits actually helping you? Are they boosting you? Because it seems as if with the Seven of Swords, that whatever these habits are of the past are keeping you from receiving all that is here for you. These habits are downplaying the wholeness in which you are, creating doubt within your mind and sort of anchoring in beliefs that you're not worthy of receiving everything that you are desiring. That's big, because our energy is also made up of all of the actions and decisions and the thoughts that we have throughout our daily life. And every single one of those actions is accumulated, and that is what makes up our frequency, or however we be and exist in this world. And so what's being said is that some of the patterns, some of the habits, some of the possible addictions in your life right now are keeping you downplaying yourself and your worth and your value. That's big. And I'm excited to continue diving into that. So let's get a card really connecting the two. Let's really see what sort of breakthrough is needed. What is this? Wow. Hello. Okay, yeah. Clarity. Well, firstly, just to acknowledge the Four of Pentacles that flipped out in the deck. I'm going to put it back in the deck because that just feels right. But just something to add to that fact of these habits that have been created in your life. It seems as if some of these habits were created from a place of scarcity, or these habits were placed and habitualized through a lack of security. And in searching for that secureness, that is where those habits have been created. If it has created some sense of comfort and ease and some sort of coping mechanism through a sense of scarcity and not feeling fully grounded and solidified and safe at the end of the day, you know? It really does come down to a sense of safety. So looking at those habits, looking at those patterns and possibly addictions, and seeing how they are helping you cope with your sense of safety in this world. Because that safety is being rattled up right now with the Tower card. All of these things that you've been creating, you know, all of these patterns and habits are being shaken to the core. You're being tested, and you're being disrupted, as I am. You know, the Tower card is very much this card of I've built this life that I am living currently, and in building this current life, there are areas in which I've built this life that are not reflecting of my highest potential. And now, since the universe is coming in and ready to create some change in your life, all of those ways in which we are downplaying ourselves, or we are isolating ourselves, or using those coping mechanisms are being shown to us. It's being shooken up. It's not working in the same ways that it used to. And there is a true call to change. What is that change is what I'm curious about. Oh, we got the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. And then the Princess of Swords as well with that. I think we're going to dive in. I feel like this is kind of splitting us up into two different areas of this transformation and this change that's happening in your life right now. One being the Ace of Pentacles. You know, this is the seed. This is you nurturing and protecting some sort of creative idea and passion that you're wanting to birth into this world. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, but let's go to the Princess of Swords as well. This is about how can I become creative in my own imagination, in my own thought processes, in my own belief systems. How can I get creative with them in a way that's going to ultimately benefit me? You know, like we've created some of these habits and these patterns out of a place of I'm not fully whole. And so now it's like, okay, well, now that I'm realizing that a lot of these habits are coming from a place of me not fully believing in myself, how can I then transform that? What thoughts and beliefs can I be holding on to that are actually empowering and inspiring and are going to motivate me forward instead of keeping me down and not believing in myself? So let's keep going with that. Like, what are some beliefs, some perspective shifts, some creative, imaginative ways in which we can ultimately transform these habits and just pesky things, you know, that we're ready to let go of, but we just can't seem to? The cards be flying out today. They be flying out. Beautiful. Yeah. So to start off, we have the Hanged Man, or the Hanged One, as it refers to in this deck. And this is about a change in perspective. Again, as I was saying, getting curious, you know, and getting playful with the mind. And a big thing about this card is he's upside down, he's stuck. It's a state of surrender, you know, especially when it comes to this Tower moment. A lot of the times we don't have control, you know. I'm going to say most of the time we really don't have control. It's really up to the universe when it comes to times of change such as these. And so a ease of mind and of spirit, recognizing that I really don't have power right now in this moment when it comes to this change. You know, like I do have some power, and we'll get to that. But ultimately, like, let me chill, let me surrender, let me let go of my grasp and my grip that I've been holding onto so tightly, and let me just surrender to the process that's occurring, and not even just surrender to it, but maybe let's try and see it from a new perspective. You can see in this card, he's actually, one, he's upside down, so that already gives you a different perspective on things, and then he's looking through a body of water that is rippling. So not only is there one change in perspective, but there's multiple throughout the ripples of the reflection of the water. So I think a big thing that's really coming through is be fluid with your perspective and your ideas, and where your thought processes are, you know? It's always going to be changing and transforming. You know, our belief systems are not supposed to be fully strict and constrictive, you know? That just closes us down, you know? And that's where you've been, you know? That's where it seems your life has been, at least over the past couple months, is in this kind of constricted, this is what's real, this is what's right, this is what's believed. And that's being shaken to the core, you know? So you're being asked to be fluid in your perspective and allow what you're witnessing in your life to then share with you where your perspective should be. I hope that makes sense. Because going on, we now have the Three of Swords. And so another thing, when I pulled these three cards, it's all about how can I transform those limiting beliefs? How can I look into those habits and start transforming how I see those habits, you know? And a big thing is feeling. There's a process of grief that has to be allowed, embraced, and compassionately held within. A lot of these coping mechanisms, will say, come up because of some pain of the past. And so we then cover up that pain of the past with something, and we fill that hole and that void with something to distract us. And what's being asked is, as we recognize these coping mechanisms, can we peel those layers back and uncover the true hurt that was actually underneath that? Because, and I know that sounds scary, you know, no one wants to actually do that. No one wants to look at the pains, you know, like that part is scary. And simultaneously, I think a big reason why people are so afraid of going within and peeling those layers back is thinking that they're going to bring all the emotions back and you're just gonna relive the experience and it's gonna hurt you even more. When ultimately what's happening is, yes, you're feeling it and it's coming back up again, but it's coming back up to be released, you know, because in the time that it happened, you didn't allow yourself to fully process it. You didn't allow yourself to fully feel the loss and the pain and the grief. And so it got held and trapped in the body and then covered up and distracted by these mechanisms that we've created, which ultimately have reflected to us that we are not worthy and valued. Ultimately, you have the Princess of Torches. So two princesses here. And it's Page in the tarot, in a regular tarot deck, if you are aware of tarot. So again, it's about curiosity. It's about really understanding how you can build an inner fire in order to push and drive and feel motivated and inspired. And again, when it comes to that imagination aspect of things and creating new internal mindsets and just thoughts, opinions, beliefs, make them about empowerment. You know, like, I got this. I'm capable. I'm strong. I'm independent. I'm worthy. And as you can feel that internally and anchor in those feelings, like really fueling that solar plexus of confidence and empowerment, ultimately every action and everything that you do in your life is going to be reflecting of that. So I think that is a huge part of that, is one, perspective and seeing things, surrendering to the flow of the change process that you're going through, grieving the things that you didn't allow yourself to grieve of the past, and then ultimately to fuel yourself and feel that power within. That is going to get you places. Moving over to the Ace of Pentacles, because now we're actually talking about the physical, we're talking about action-based, we're talking about moving forward. Let's get some cards around this Ace of Pentacles. And again, this is about some sort of new creative endeavor. It's a seed that you've planted, you've sown, you're nurturing. It's ready to blossom, you know? And so let's see what type of environment is needed in order to really nurture this seed within. What does that environment look like? Let's get 3 cards once again. Beautiful. We have 4 cards. The last one I'm going to keep as like a finishing remark. But we have first the Hierophant. We have the 9 of Swords, as well as the Ace of Cups. The seed needs its water to grow. And that water is your emotions, you know? And when we can really direct our emotional states, and of course we can't always control our emotions, but when we have the power to at least focus in and really feel into giving to ourselves, we can feel into certain emotional states that are going to not initially, that's not the right word I'm looking for, but ultimately fuel you, you know, feed you, heal you, nurture you. And that seed needs watering. That seed inside of you needs watering. And the way to water is by taking care of yourself, is by really tuning into what is that emotional state that I really am desiring and craving in my life, and realizing that that is actually going to nurture and bring a sense of, just healing and expansion into this Ace of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Swords. This is about confronting the anxieties. Whenever we do have some new creative endeavors and new expansions of self in these transformations, we come face to face with obstacles, internal obstacles, of course, mostly. And one of these obstacles being anxiety, you know, self-doubt, not believing that you're enough. It could be just that you create something and then you don't end up posting it, or don't end up actually expressing it and putting it out into the world because of some judgment or something of that nature. So it's important to look at those anxieties. You know, a lot of the times we hide from them and we use our coping mechanisms to think that they're not actually there when they are there. And I use this analogy, and I think it's important, of like, when your car doesn't seem to be running properly and there's some signs of things just being off, it's better to look at the problem and figure the problem out, instead of just being like, oh gosh, I don't know, I'm scared, and then ignoring it, because the problem's just going to get worse. When you know what the problem is, you can then work through it and get through it and fix whatever is needed to be fixed, you know? And that's what's being asked with this Ace of Pentacles and this 9 of Swords. Yes, you're going through a change and you're wanting to create some new abundance in your life. You want to create new opportunities and creative endeavors, and you have this idea that this is the dream reality. This is the seed to the dream reality. You gotta face the parts of yourself that fear the manifestation of this. It's going to be too overwhelming. It's too much responsibility. I'm not actually capable. You know, I don't have the credentials. All stories that are creating certain anxieties and disbelief in self. You know, so really understanding them, dissecting them, getting curious on what these anxieties are, so that you can ultimately transform them. And then you have the Hierophant. I think this is beautiful. it's definitely a little different than the rest of this energy because it's all about so far kind of changing perspective and being fluid and letting go of old structures that you thought were supporting you but actually ultimately aren't. But the Hierophant is one, I'm getting a lot with this. There's the word trust came to mind. Also, like a sense of connection to a higher purpose or higher power that will bring a sense of inspiration. And because, you know, like there can be this energy of like, what's the point? What's the point? Like, you know, and then there's that dead kind of flat energy of like, what am I doing? What am I even living here for? And so to be able to have some sort of higher power or even internal power, you know, that is going to be inspiring and like fills you with purpose is important. And there's a message here around structure as well, of creating, especially when it comes to actually implementing the actions that need to be taken in order for you to really nurture and grow this seed. It takes structure, it takes consistency, it takes dedication. And this card, the Hierophant, is all about that structure. So what does that structure look like for you, you know? What can you be doing on a day-to-day basis that is going to be in honor of the things that you want to create? There's also a sense of reverence here, of appreciation and gratitude, and this humbling of like, thank you, God. Whatever, if that word doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. But whatever that like higher power is to you, that we're all connected to and that we're all a part of, and we're all a unique expression of. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Next, to finish off the reading, we have the Fool, and I just love that is the last card that comes up here. And again, it's a sense of trusting. The Fool is walking off a cliff without knowing where the next platform may be. And so this is, it's a sense of blind faith, you know, of I'm just going to continue taking steps forward and trusting that I'm supported, trusting that my innocent, beautiful, loving energy that I am wanting to put out into the world and want to create with, and that will lead, I can trust that will help me, that I will be supported, that I will land on something. And yes, I may fall and stumble, you know, but ultimately I have that decision. You have that decision to stand up again and take more steps. This is a free-flowing energy. This is like, I surrender. I have let go of everything. All I have is the backpack on my back, and I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust my evolution and my growth, because it can seem scary, you know, especially as this tower comes in and rattles things, especially when it comes to showing you what habits, what coping mechanisms you're holding on to that are stopping you from really feeling into those emotions and triggers that are underlying it, you know, and that you're distracting yourself from. And that can feel scary and like really out of control. But when we can really remember this Fool energy and remember that like, la da 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 da, I let go of all of it. It's this innocence. It's this, I'm free, I'm capable, and I'm just going to trust. And I'm going to trust. And I'm going to trust again. And it's this constant coming back to that and saying, universe, source, connection, God, whatever, I trust. I see the vision. I know the vision is within my heart. I know what I'm here to do. I can see it. I can feel it. And all I have to do is take steps. All I have to do is take a step. In confidence, in nurturing of oneself and of one's emotional state, of changing perspective, and of having some structure and trust in some higher energy within, you know. So that's my reading for you guys here today. So that is my reading for you guys today. I really hope this resonated with you and you pick something out of it, you know, that will help guide you in your life moving forward. You've got this. You're more than capable. I believe in you. It's time to trust, surrender, and make the change that you know you are able and capable, more than capable of making. Your wildest dreams are possible. Continue nurturing that seed that is within you that you want to create out into the world. You are powerful. You've got this. My name is Juno, and if you want to connect personally and get a private reading, I would love to connect with you. I love you guys. I'll see you guys later.